When I say this is the toughest test I've ever faced, I'm not exaggerating.
Welcome back to Close to Broke, everyone. My name is Kieran, and I have a wonderful announcement for you guys. We're gonna be doing the bankroll challenge, and I'm gonna treat this like the last $3,000 I have to my name. We're gonna be going around all of the local LA casinos, and the goal is to get to $10,000. I have 15 episodes, AKA 15 sessions to reach my goal. I'm gonna go down 5-5 and 2-3. All that to be said, that's enough talking for the time being. We've got to go get after it. 9:30 in the morning, 9:19 in the morning on a Saturday. The OMCs are out, but little do they know, I'm coming back. Let's go.
The blood is flowing. I take my seat at the Commerce Casino, the place I learned how to play poker. And today, we go back to that time. Bankroll challenge starts now. There's an under the gun limp at this point. I'm in late position with Jack 6 of clubs, baby. We are literally flowing with testosterone. Why not make it 25? Late position calls and the limper calls. $85 in the middle, going off to a flop that comes out ace 5-4. Absolutely nothing going for us, but when the action checks to me, seems like if we're ever gonna go for it, we should start going for it now. Ace is good for us. We don't think they have anything. I make it 30, and luckily for us, the first hand of the bankroll challenge is a winner. That is a very good sign for things to come. First hand of our session was not all that great, but you know what is? Ace King. We make it $15 to go from under the gun, and we get 3 calls. 4 ways to a flop where we flop ourselves a gutter ball as well as a fake flush draw. Our opponents check it over to me, and I decided to bet out $35. The small blind decides to make the call, and the turn card comes out the 5 of clubs. My opponent is severely capped. He can never have a straight here when he doesn't raise a flop that's this textured, that is this dynamic. So this is a pretty easy spot for us to go blast away, blast away. We're ready to triple barrel if we have to. We make it $55 to go, sizing up for a really big river jam if we need to do so. But luckily for us, our opponent eventually does make the fold. Happy to take that one down with only ace high. It's going to be pretty dangerous if I could ever make a hand in this series, because at this point we're winning pots and not even making hands. I'm in the hijack and I make it 15. The button decides to 3-bet to 50. The hand is good at ace 5 of clubs. It feels like a pretty dumb thing to let go of it here, so I just go ahead and make the call. It's even more likely the better call here when my opponent's only got around about a $360 starting stack. When the flop comes out ace high, giving me top pair, we decide to check call our opponent's c-bet of $75. The turn card comes the queen of spades, now bringing the backdoor flush draw. I check it, and my opponent thinks about it for some time before eventually checking it back. The river card comes out the 3 of clubs, and this is where something interesting happens. I think we can bet here and obviously get called by worse sometimes, but we can obviously bet and get called by better. I think the best thing to do, the best course of action, is to bet really small here as a blocker bet to either induce a raise from a really mediocre hand or get called by a hand like pocket kings or pocket jacks that are going to be checking it back. So I decided to throw out a bet for $25, and my opponent goes into the tank forever before eventually deciding to fold. Boo-hoo.
Hey you, yeah, I'm talking to you. Just wanted to let you guys know a couple of very important things. There is an unbelievable amount of y'all that actually don't subscribe. I think like 70%. So if you guys are watching this for the first time or just getting to realizing it and you haven't had a chance to subscribe, make sure to do so. It goes a long way in helping our channel hit the algorithm. That means quite a bit to me. As you guys have noticed over the last couple of videos, we've had a sponsor by the name of Underdog. If you guys aren't familiar with the concept, it's pretty simple. They have pickup entries in which you can choose your favorite or least favorite players for that matter to go higher or lower their designated total. Again, if you guys are interested, the link is at the top of the description. They're giving you a match on your deposit up to $100. So if you put in 50 bucks, they'll immediately give you $50, which I think is outstanding. Talk about value. We're always looking for value as poker players. So if you haven't done so already, make sure to check out Underdog. I'll be putting my pickup entry right here if you guys are interested. We are doing a giveaway where if one of these hits on one of these videos, I'll give away $500. So the only way you're eligible is by liking, commenting, and subscribing. Once again, if you haven't already, make sure to use code C2B. I promise you it'll be definitely worth it. I'll see you guys on the Underdog felt. But until then, let's go play some poker, or let's get back. This is a mid-session update, so let's go back to playing some more poker.
Obviously getting a little lucky in the last hand, but don't need luck on this one. Early position makes it $25 to go. That is a very big raise and a little scary. and even more so when we look down on everyone's least favorite pocket pair. Pocket jiggities. Even though our opponent did go very large here and he is in fact an OMC, I think it'd be pretty stupid to not 3-bet to at least try to get this action heads up. I make it 60, a little bit small here considering his actual raise size, but I think it's fine considering all the dynamics at the table. Everyone else folds and he makes a call, and the flop comes out ace high, but at least means that we do have a flush draw. But when the action checks to me, seems like pocket jacks in this instance feels like a decent spot to check back. The turn card comes E4 of clubs, and when he checks to me for a second time, I think we have the full-blown green light to go for some value. Our opponent obviously has waited to those middling pairs that we can still get value from, and beyond that, it'd be an absolute disaster if our opponent happened to have a hand like king queen offsuit with the king of spades and we just let him get down the river for free. All that being said, our opponent eventually makes a fold and would later tell me that he had pocket nines. My goal throughout this entire series is to bring you guys some rapid fire content, some big pots, and trying to show you that this is very feasible in today's climate, and even more so, it's possible in a very quick timeline. I'm going to try to keep all of my sessions below 3 hours, as I feel like that's the most realistic amount of time people have to set aside for poker every single day, at least on a recreational level. All that to be said, now that I got a couple of those stipulations out of the way, we've got some more poker to talk about. In this next hand, I'm out of the gun and I make it $15 to go with 5-6 of spades, one of my favorite hands in poker. Once again, we're getting 3-bet, this time to the tune of $45 from the button. Action folds back to me and we have a pretty easy call. When the flop gives me middle pair, I decide to check it over to my opponent who makes it 50. I consider for a brief moment on a board like this throughout a raise, but considering there's a flush draw and I don't have any backdoor equity, I feel like it'd be a little bit of a punt, so I just call. The turn card is literally, and I mean literally, the best turn card in the world as it comes the 6 of hearts. Why do I like this turn card more than any other one? It is the most disguised 2-pair humanly possible. At this point, if my opponent has any hands, aces, kings, ace queen, king queen, queen jack, he's literally never going to fold in this spot. So with all of that being said, as well as a flush draws being out there, I want to go really big here. If my opponent ever has one of these hands, he's going to have to call, doesn't matter what I bet. So I make it 175. And unfortunately, our opponent folds faster than I can even put the chips out. To be quite honest, quite some time has passed from the last hand to this one. I was so keen on getting a 6-10 for this vlog to make it a nice, perfect, rounded vlog that I was so concerned about, playing pots and making them big enough and important enough for the vlog. All that to be said, this is when the following hand happens. About 45 minutes have gone since I've played anything meaningful, and I've just been kind of waiting around and looking for a spot and almost forcing it. I'm out of the gun with ace deuce of hearts, easy spot for us to raise. I do get 3 callers and somehow we've been blessed for being semi-patient. It's a miraculous ace deuce 3 with 2 diamonds and a spade. A very wet board texture if I do say so myself. So with the action on me, I think I have a clear green light to go for a massive c-bet. I make it $45 to go, nearly the size of the pot. Again, at the end of the day here, my goal is to build the size of the pot while I do, in fact, have the best hand. It's going to be tough to get 3 streets of value with a hand like top and bottom pair, especially when there's a bunch of cards that either kill action or slow down action or give my opponents simply the better hand. Early position does in fact call, and then the small blind calls as well. We're going to a turn card that comes one of the worst ones in the deck. It's the 5 of clubs. Yeah, now I'm pretty over it. This is frustrating. As we talked about for quite a bit, we'd been waiting for a spot and we finally got one, and then we get this horrible turn card. The small blind leads out for 95, and at this point I just pretty much have a funeral for my hand. I can never call here as I don't think my opponents at this stake level are ever going to be balanced enough as a bluff, and I don't think they're ever turning worse 2 pairs into bets here, like 5-3 suited, deuce 3 suited, 5 deuce suited. None of these hands make any sense, so I credibly can't beat anything. And when that's the case, although it makes you really frustrated and I'm not very good at doing so, I end up making a pretty decent laydown in my opinion. But we're not over with the hand because I want you guys to hear what happened with the rest of it. The other opponent in the hand, early position, does make the call, and the river card is even worse somehow. It's the 4 diamonds, brings in that front door flush and then puts a freaking straight on the board. Obviously at this point I'm happy I got out of the hand, and when the small blind checks, early position decides to bet about 145 if I'm not mistaken. Small blind tanks for an eternity. By this point I've already racked up my chips and I'm just waiting for this hand to end, but he eventually does make the call, and of course early position OMC shows king 8 of diamonds for the nut flush. Absolutely no surprises there, but you all know what's up.
I can dodge bullets, baby.
I'm dodging bullets, baby. That's what I do. In this series, that's what I'm going to be showing you guys, the ability to dodge bullets. That's what I'm best at. After it was all said and done, we were able to rack up a $310 win. We were in for 500 and out for 810. Something that I'd like to say is pretty reasonable, and even more so when you found out that I played for about an hour and 25 minutes. We're going to leave these updated totals here on your screen now. As you guys can see, we're climbing ever so closer to that 10K goal. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, y'all. It goes a huge way in hitting the algorithm and helping our channel grow. But until the next time, it's Kieran from Close to Broke, and I'll see you guys on the next one.